Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome back to the Blitzburg Squad. I'm Wesley Seeley, joined alongside or with Shane Smith. Thanks for joining us as we dive into the Week 8 preview of the Steelers versus the Ravens. Shane, it's flipping Ravens week, man.
It is second division game, and boy, oh boy, does this one mean a lot.
Yep, sure does, man.
Because whoever wins this takes sole place in the division at number one.
Yep.
So,
And the Ravens are trying to knock us off, man. We're 6-0 and they're 5-1.
yep.
You know this is going to be one of those games. It always is. It's going to be probably a 3-point game when it comes down to it. It's going to be defense battle, and it's going to be who gets the changing play in the game.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
trips up
absolutely.
first?
Who makes the first mistake? And we played some pretty good mistake-free football games this year. We have 2 out of our 6 that we haven't caused a turnover, and 3 out of the 6 our offense has not.
Right.
Because the Giants game, it was on a punt return,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's something where you're pretty excited just because we know how to protect the ball as long as we're not forcing it and making those mistakes.
Yep.
And I know Lamar's thrown 2 picks, so not a whole lot. I don't know about their fumbles or anything, but their defense is good at taking the ball away. So if
Yeah.
this is one game we need to worry about, like making sure to know where we're going and not forcing. This is the game our
Right.
offense has to do it.
Right. I was gonna say Ben's got to play better than last week. He's got to protect the ball more than last week. He can't have a 3 turnover game, or we're definitely going to lose this game. Got to protect the ball. I don't mind him taking some risks, but just take better risks. And I'm talking like not with 2 minutes left in the game, and not when we're down inside the 20-yard line against the Titans. Like, that was too much of a risk. If I want to take a deep ball on the first play of the game, or if you want to take a deep ball shot, late in the second half, something like that, I'm fine with. But just a better calculated risk, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, almost something like come out of the gate looking like you're going to pound the ball, throw an extra blocker in, make was it Gerald Hawkins as an eligible man. So it looks like it's going to be run all the way. Stack the box, do play action, have like Juju or Johnson or Claypool out wide, and it becomes a one-on-one battle that you're way more comfortable throwing to than triple coverage middle of the field.
For sure,
when you're in scoring range.
Yep. No, I like that too. I like we've talked about, like opening the running to open up the pass has totally worked for us this year, and Connor's looked great. Ben's looked even better when it's set up that way. So I think kind of that's the Ravens' Achilles heel too. I think they've done pretty bad against the run this year. They let Miles Sanders run on them when they played the Eagles.
I think they're a lot like us, where they want the pass rush to get there to affect them. And their pass rush, they've done fairly well. I think I want to say they have 20 sacks to our 26.
I think you're right, actually.
But I think it's like 7 of them has come from their front 7, I want to say, or front 4 or something like that.
I did see a stat where like both their corners have a sack, their safeties have a sack. Like, almost seems like everybody's getting blitzed.
I know. I don't know if it's their corners and DBs or their secondary as a whole. I know at least has 8 total.
Jeez.
If not more than that. And so it's like, okay, so that means you're stacking the box a lot and you're daring teams to throw on you. But at the same time, if your big guys get bottled up in the middle and you're doing like an outside run against a bigger back, like for instance the Chiefs with Claire Edwards-Helaire?
Clyde Edwards.
Clyde Edwards.
Yep.
Helaire. Him against a DB or a corner, I like his chances of breaking that, averaging well more than 2 or 3 yards a carry.
Right.
And so that could be where they get into trouble, where they're trying to stack that box and just trying to put that pressure on. It's kind of backfiring sometimes.
Right. And I think you're right. I think Connor has to have a big game. What do you think? Do you think Connor has to have a bigger game here, or do you think Ben has to have a bigger game?
I think Ben has to have a mistake-free game, and I don't know if I'll put everything on Connor, just because I would honestly be okay if they threw in a two-back set. I know we don't do that often, but
Mhm.
throw James on one side, Snell or McFarland on another side, just to kind of be like, oh man, okay, they're back in shotgun. They got both these guys. Is it going to Connor, and are we going to eat this way, or is it going to McFarland going this way? Or is it a play action where we're going to crash, try to get it, and then he's going to hit one of these two guys on it?
Right.
I'd just like to see us. It seems like every week we've tried to add something else new. And honestly, last week I think was more not stale, because we're still trying to do our RPOs, our play actions, and trying to be dynamic. But at the same time, I think if we could add at least one or two new plays that no other team has seen us do this year a week, even if it's just one time, it's enough to throw them off their game and say,
Mhm.
whoa, what the heck's going on? Like,
Right.
game plan completely wrong, and just kind of throw them off, and their adjustments end up not working.
Mhm. Yeah. I kind of think I kind of wonder if it's more so on Connor, and just because we had mentioned about running to open up the pass, I, I think Ben, like you said, if he had a mistake-free game, we definitely need that, absolutely. But Connor needs to have another great game like he's had the past 2 weeks,
Mhm.
because then it'll take obviously the stress off Ben, which probably would lead to a mistake-free game from him. And if you get the running game going against the Ravens, it's going to make them not stack the box as much, hopefully, and then open up the pass a little bit more and just open up the game to not make us one dimensional. But I think if Connor or Snell has a good game, or both of them, like you said, if you run them both in there, don't the Ravens run, or at least last year, didn't they run that two back set a lot?
I thought they did. I don't know if they've done it as much this year.
Right.
Um, but I thought they ran it quite a bit last year. What is it? Is it considered the pistol formation?
You might be right.
Um, and so I really thought that they did, and I thought it added an extra element when you have the backs to do it. Granted, Lamar can run too, so it kind of makes
Yeah.
a triple option where we
Right.
would just have more of like a double option,
Right.
almost like a double RPO. Okay,
Hmm.
or am I giving it to him? Am I giving it to him? And then, two slants or a curl and something going deep. It's like, okay, now you
It's
have
a
some different options.
Yeah, that's a lot to account for in one play.
Hmm.
So I would like to see it, because you're right. I don't know if we see it that much, because we usually have so many wideouts or tight ends on the field. So they
Oh,
usually cut the
absolutely.
back. You know what I mean? It's the back's kind of the odd man out, which
Yeah.
I'm usually fine with, because our wide receivers are playmakers and you want them on the field. But it would be kind of nice to see that, because that probably would open a lot more up in the running game.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And the Ravens defensive backs are some of the toughest in the game. Their outside guys, Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters, are pretty elite. Now, Marcus, I think he's got a pick this year. I'm not 100% sure. Um,
yeah,
but
he does.
Marcus doesn't nearly worry me as much as Marlon. Marlon may not necessarily always get the picks, but man, that guy just knows how to find punch the ball out, or just be
Yep.
near the ball.
Yep.
Um, he's just there all the time. To where Marcus, if he makes that play, it's because he's kind of anticipating something. And I know he did it
Yeah.
a lot in Kansas City. Ben has a nasty pump fake. If you do like a double where you like curl real quick and then go straight, if they time that curl and Ben's pump fake at the same time and it's on Peters, Peters may jump for what he anticipates to be
No
a
doubt.
pick, and that would lead to a huge gain. So that'd be
Mm.
something that I'd see for them to go on, just because I think their safeties are weaker this year. They got rid of they still have Jefferson,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tony
um,
Jefferson.
but now it is it Chuck Clark
Yeah, I think
as
you're right.
their other safety, because Mr. Earl Thomas can't get along with people and decides to slug somebody during
Yeah, he
practice.
exited himself out.
I was fine with that.
Me too, for sure. I think you're right though. It's Marcus Peters. He's such a ball hawk. Like he makes great plays, and usually I would say more often than not he probably makes the right decision. But he can definitely get beat if you're going to play the ball and not the man. Like you can definitely get beat as a corner at doing that. So he plays aggressive, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes it won't. So he's got to definitely watch out for the pump fake, and maybe they won't have him play as close or as aggressive this game. But you're right, that could definitely bite him this game. And then Marlon Humphrey, yeah, he had the big play last year against Juju to punch the ball out in overtime. So
that's the only reason they won that game.
Exactly. So you never know when he's going to make a play. He's been doing it all last year, all this year so far. He's like Charles Tillman, Peanut Tillman, just punching that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's looked good this year. Calais Campbell, Patrick Queen's been on a tear.
Yeah,
he's going to be a new piece.
Good. And Queen's very, very fast.
Very.
But I've seen where Queen has looked like a rookie as well, where he's made some mistakes in the middle of the field. And I think we can utilize that with James Conner or whoever out in this, like if we decide to do a pass.
Okay.
Or if the Ravens get bold and decide to put Queen on, say, Ebron, I think that's something that we could utilize just because he's a stout guy and he for sure has the speed, but I've seen where he's made some bad reads, and I think it's just him working through being a rookie in the NFL.
Yeah.
But honestly, it'll be 7 games in.
Yeah.
You're still working through some of those things. But no, Calais, man, that guy is one big nasty man.
And they added Yannick Ngakwe. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I've not heard how much he'll play. I'm sure he'll be learning the playbook a little bit, so they'll throw him in, but I'm not sure if he'll matter as much this game as he might on Thanksgiving Day game. But yeah, Ngakwe is one heck of a guy, and he's real young. I want to say he's only like 25. Campbell's on the other side. He's a little bit older, but man, he's just a large man.
Still got it.
What makes me nervous about Campbell is how many times did the balls get batted last game?
Yeah, good point. They were low passes.
And Campbell, I've seen more times than I want to think about, just lift his hands if he's not getting anywhere and just knock that ball somewhere.
Knock it. Yep.
And it's like, oh man, Ben, don't do this. Don't throw to Campbell's side, or again, do the pump fake, see if he jumps early.
Right.
And then throw it somewhere else.
Right. The other guy I want to mention is LJ Fort. Many Steelers fans, I think, will recognize that name. So LJ Fort was on our team, even last year? What did he exit? No, he was on the Eagles, so he must have exited 2 years ago.
Yes, 2 years ago.
I think that's right. Yeah. Found his way on the Ravens, unfortunately.
Yeah, he played okay with us.
Yeah. I honestly liked him.
Yeah, I liked him. I just didn't think he was ever going to be a star.
Right.
Went to the Eagles. I don't know what happened there.
Neither do I.
I don't know if they cut him, if they only signed him to a 1-year deal. I really don't know.
Right.
And then he finds himself onto the Ravens. And boy, I wouldn't say he's necessarily a star, but he finds himself in the right spot all the freaking time this year.
Yeah, those first couple of weeks, man, it was like he was making a splash play every single game.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got any picks, but I can think of at least 2. I know at least for sure 1. And I want to say at least 2 fumbles he's taken to the house. And it's like every time I would turn to a stinking Ravens something game to see if maybe
it was LJ
by some
Fort.
Stroke of luck, they're gonna lose. LJ Fort be making a play, and I'm like, okay, I'm just done watching him because this guy is just ticking me off every time.
And we could use him right now. I'll tell you that. I like Spillane, but we could definitely use him right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the mix of things, but oh well. I mean, hats off to him. He's doing well over there, but it's just funny to see him do so much better over there than maybe we just didn't give him a good enough chance. But I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes we're good at that.
Yeah,
Keith Butler's not the best at pushing to greatness. He's better at doing stuff with those that are already great, I think. So
Yeah, I think you're right.
So we're lucky to have the team we have now, though. So
Yep, for sure, totally. All right, so let's switch. Let's switch a little bit. Talk about our defense. They looked great. I know we already talked about them in the last game, but they looked great last game. They looked great against the Browns. So 2 weeks in a row, they came out firing on all cylinders. Really, they kind of slowed down in the second half, and some of that wasn't really all on them. We talked about that. Some being on the offense for giving up the ball. But do you kind of see them getting after Lamar early often? Do you see it consistently? The pressure getting there?
I see us doing exactly what we did in week 17 against RG3. If they're going to play this run pass option or option plays where Lamar's going to hand it off to somebody, somebody's coming screaming in free, and they are going to hit Lamar every single play.
I was gonna say, do you think they would go off a game plan that they went? What was it, like week 4 with Duck or Mason? It was Mason, and then Duck came in. But remember, I mean, I think he threw like 3 picks that game. We sacked him like, I don't know, it's five times. Yeah. So whatever game plan we had going into that game too, like super solid.
Oh, very, very solid. And yeah, we looked bad against RG3, and I think we were just kind of more of a defeated team at that point.
I think so too.
But I think, I don't think we're going to change it so much that we're going to change how our defense looks. I think we're still going to bring the pressure we want to and things like that. But at the same time, if Bud Dupree and TJ Watts come in both free and it's an option play
RPO
because we're not even sure if Mark Ingram's going to play this week. He missed week 6. They had a bye to try and get healthy, but he's got an ankle injury, so it might be Gus Edwards or J.K. Dobbins. If they get him, Bud may be like, okay, I'm going to hit this guy. And then if it's Lamar, TJ may say, okay, I'm going to hit him, or they may switch it or something to where either way, both those guys are getting hit every time.
Yep.
Just to bruise them and say, like, no, we've proven this year our run defense is what is going. You have to pass it on us.
Right.
And the Ravens have, more often than not, at least 2, if not 3 running backs behind there instead of a quarterback and a running back.
I mean, you don't have to tell me twice for sure. I agree with you, man. Are you with me here that you think that we'd have a harder time stopping Lamar running it than like JK and Gus? Or do you think it'd be the other way around? Do you think we'd have a harder time stopping? I guess if Ingram plays, then Ingram, Dobbins, Gus. But if not, it's just Dobbins and Edwards. But
if Ingram plays, I think we'll have a harder time stopping Ingram. Not that he's an explosive back, but he's been in the league a long time and he just seems to know how to do his job very well. Lamar is just so fast though. If he somehow gets a major hole to where he's at the secondary in the middle, I'll get nervous.
Right.
But if he's got to go sideline to sideline, yeah, we don't have Devin Bush, but we have Mike Hilton, we have TJ Watt, we have, we have so many other players. We may have UG3 in there to kind of help play that, to where if he's got to run sideline to sideline or try to sweep it around, I think we'll be fine. It's when you let him get a big open
in the middle.
Right in the middle that just lets him shoot up the gap.
For sure. He's had 2 of those this year. I think that he's just broke off just right up the middle. I'm also
57 yards or something. I
think you're right. I'm also scared too about, I know you said about him kind of going to the outside, and this kind of goes along with that a little bit. Maybe not even just a designed run, but if he's just kind of scrambling out of the pocket, looking downfield still, and then decides to scramble, that's kind of what scares me too, because like everybody might have their back turned if they're covering in man, you know what I mean? Or even if they're covering zone and they're just playing deep, like, I don't know. I could just see him getting chunk yard after chunk yards after chunk yards. Just
I could see
even if it wasn't big.
And I'm okay if we give him chunk yards if we stay bend, don't break. I don't want to see us do prevent necessarily, but if it's going to be inevitable, like, okay, we're going to give up a huge gain to Mark Andrews down the middle of the field, or we're going to let Lamar get 8 yards rushing. Let him get the 8 yards rushing all the way down the field, because then at some point in time when you're in the red zone, it's going to be like, okay, you can't get these 8 yards anymore because it's just way too crowded, and we're
Yep.
just going to keep hitting you. And I know teams haven't stopped hitting him this year either. When they get it to take a shot, they take the shot.
Right. No, I agree with you there. I think if we did let him get down to the red zone, I think it would be kind of like a bend but don't break. I think we're good at like, hunkering down, kind of stopping everything in front of us and not allowing him to get that touchdown. But also too is I forgot to mention this. I guess one positive thing, the Ravens do have the number 1 defense, I guess, in the league, according to NFL.com. We have the number 2. So it literally is going to be a defense battle. And then also, I guess Lamar, I can't remember. I want to say his like QBR was like 53 or 56 against pressures. It's like it's really bad.
He's not a good passer this year.
Mm-mm.
I don't know what's flipped. I don't know if you know this answer or not. Out of 6 games that they played, how many times has Lamar passed for 200 plus yards?
I'll guess 2. I know 1 for sure against the Browns. I think he passed for more than that.
Yeah, 2. That's it.
Is it 2?
He passed against the Browns. I think it was like 250 something, 260 something. The week after that, week 2, he passed for 204 yards.
And then
He's gone like 190 something, 180 something, 97 against the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, he
defense absolutely got after him. I mean, he really put his defense in a bad predicament in that game. So
it's just so funny because last year he was so good against pressure. I felt like he did really well against the blitz, and now it's this year it's totally reversed. And I think I heard that they said Big Ben is actually number 1 against pressures right now.
I believe it.
I think he's got either most completions, most yards, or most yards and most touchdowns, I think, against the blitz. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth, but
yeah, it's great. And honestly, you wouldn't think it's a huge difference, but maybe losing Marshall Yonda to retirement could have a role on that. I mean, he was a staple for that team a long time, and having somebody hit you right in the guard spot and come and pressure you and making you roll out more when there's so many speedier guys on the outside, maybe that's affecting him instead of crashing from the outside and making him shoot up in.
Yeah.
Plus, I just think there's something that Lamar's not telling us or telling the coaches, or the Ravens just aren't telling the league, because, yeah, he can still run. He's still fast, but he's just, I mean, when you talk about a quarterback and you're saying out of 6 games, you've only passed the ball 200 yards twice in a pass-happy league, that's just something's got to be wrong there. Like, did he injure his throwing shoulder somewhere? Is his back, something going on? Like, I don't know what's going on, but I just think there's something going on that's causing him not to be able to do what he did last year.
Could be, man. Could be like a hidden injury they're trying not to bring up. They don't want him off the lineup.
Well, whether we pride ourselves in it or not, the one thing we're good at is really beating up quarterbacks. So,
absolutely, yeah.
We'll find out here real quick into that game.
Yep.
Whether there is an injury or not, because he's either going to have to tough through it, or he's going to be taken out, and we'll have to see RG3 come onto the field.
Yeah, the defense could really, I mean, just like they did with the Titans, they could really come out with the same game plan. They know the Ravens are good at running the ball. Just take the ball, try to hold on to it, have a lot of win the time possession, score some points, play solid defense, make them one-dimensional. Then you get Lamar into throwing it and try to have him win the game with his arm. And you might be in a good position to really take control of the game at that point. Right. There's no one really on their wide receiving core that scares me.
No.
You know what I mean? Like Marquise has got speed.
Hollywood Brown, he's supposed to be their number 1, but he still just hasn't played like it. Willie Snead's kind of that underneath guy, And I mean, he makes some plays, but he's not super, super great.
Right. I know they have that Devin Duvernay. He's a quick dude.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'm scared of their tight ends.
right. Mark Andrews is probably the only one that would maybe scare me.
Yeah. Like if you're, instead of saying, okay, if you say, okay, the Ravens are going to run on us no matter what, we're going to make them run the ball, and eliminate the pass. I'd say double up on Mark Andrews every stinking play.
Right.
So that way he can't pass. But I'd rather us do the opposite and stop the run and make them pass, because I think we fare better at doing that.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a cool matchup, man. Do you think the secondary will do solid against the wide receivers though? I know like we aren't really scared of anybody other than Mark Andrews maybe, but
Yeah, I don't think we're going to let a splash play at all.
no.
On the wide receiving core. I think we'll do well. Joe and Steven Nelson should do really well at covering the outside guys. My concern would be if Mike Hilton's in, who he's playing against, just because if he's playing against some guy that has some nasty moves where he can cut in and then shoot out real quick, Hilton's going to struggle on that. But if we're going to play some more Cam Sutton, then again, there goes all my worry, because Cam Sutton, I think, has played really solid here.
Yep. Yeah, I think he can keep up with most slot receivers.
Yeah.
I think he's done a nice job. I didn't really get a chance to look at the practice report. I think I got a glance at it, and it looked like a pretty long list. But then again, I don't know if it was just one of those Juju and Ben like rest days.
That's what it seemed like. And I mean, they call just because if there's any sort of injuries at all, they call them it. But yeah, actually, I have it up here. So Ben, not injury related. Stephon Tuitt, not injury related. DeCastro, not injury related. Johnson, Schuster, both did not practice, a toe and a knee, but that's been the go-to all year.
Right.
Mike Hilton, with his shoulder, didn't practice, so that's a little possibly concerning.
Right. I want him to play this game so bad.
Yes, I agree.
You need him blitzing from that spot.
Yeah, tomorrow or Friday is going to be the big one for that.
We'll keep our eye on that one for sure.
Jordan Dangerfield did not practice with a quad, which could hurt our special teams. Derek Watt was a full participant, so maybe they gave him last week off just to make sure he was healthy.
Ready for Ravens week.
Pouncey and Villanueva did not practice with elbow injuries. Ebron had an elbow injury, and Chris Wormley had a knee injury.
Oh, okay. Did not practice for all of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're one of the few that hardly ever uses limited.
Right.
And out of those, if I had to guess, I would say the ones most in jeopardy would be Hilton, Dangerfield, and Wormley of missing the game. Everybody else, I think it's just more bumps, bruises, give the vets a day off.
Right. Man, I hope Hilton is ready to go, though. He'd be I think he's a big difference maker, especially against offense and a guy like Lamar doing the option. He can just get back there and disrupt things so quickly and make the tackle. He's a solid tackler for how little he is too. So
right, absolutely,
be good have him back in the mix.
Yeah, there's. I can tell you the list is way shorter on the Ravens. Calais Campbell, not injury related. RG3, not injury related. Did not practice for both of them. Anthony Levine, abdomen was limited.
Okay.
Jimmy Smith with his Achilles was limited. And then Derek Wolfe and Tyree Phillips, guard and defensive end, were both full. The two big ones to keep an eye on is Mark Ingram with his ankle, did not practice still.
Okay.
And Marlon Humphrey, illness. So
wow, that would be something.
Yeah, it I would assume it's probably not COVID, because he's not on a reserve list or anything like that currently. Yep. But I know if you have any sort of illness now with the updated things, you're not practicing. And say he's got an illness today and tomorrow, and he's got to consistently show negatives, he's not practicing till Friday. So there's 2 days without practice right there.
Yep.
And Humphrey's a great corner, but a couple days without practice prepping for the Steelers, that could make a difference come game time.
Yeah, I wonder what their decision would be at that point.
I mean,
hypothetically, I guess.
Was it Tavon something, their nickel they lost for the year?
Is it Tavon Austin?
That's what I wanted to say, but I felt like that's a wide receiver from back in the day.
Might be.
Maybe
Might
it
be just
was.
making it up.
Maybe Jimmy Smith was injured before, and they took him, like they put him on before. I don't know. I know they lost a nickel, whether that was Jimmy Smith or somebody else that they had lost for the year. You know so they're still deep at corner, but if you lost another one, you can only be so deep at a spot like that. So
yep. Oh yeah. What do you have for a bold prediction for this game?
Bold prediction. I had it before and I'd lost it. Come back to me, because I had one. I was like, oh, that'd be an interesting one, and now I can't think of it at all.
I am going to say, I'm actually going to say, because I said Connor was going to get 3 touchdowns last weekend. I was way off. I'm going to say the defense is going to get at least 3 picks.
Wow.
Again, against Lamar.
Wow. That would be good. I know mine was defensive. I don't know why I can't think of it now. I'm going to say it's not so bold because it's happened before. So I'll go offense.
Okay.
That Ebron scores all of our offensive touchdowns.
Wow. It could be just 2. So that's doable for sure. Sounds crazy, but it's doable. Okay, cool. I'd like to see him get more involved and get some more targets, because he's gotten some here and there, but I'd like to see him get some more opportunities for some scores. So that'd be cool.
Right.
Sweet. What do you have for a score prediction for this game?
Score, I have 27-24 Ravens. I talked us up. I really, really hope that I'm wrong.
Cut.
But ultimately, I know, if we go 16-0, that's great. But it's only been done 2 times, the Dolphins and then the Patriots, who ultimately went 18-1. And so it's just, I know it's going to happen sometime, and we always seem to split with them. We always seem to lose at M&T and win at Heinz. So as much as I hope I'm wrong, and this would be the greatest time for me to ever be wrong, I'm going Ravens.
Man, I'm disappointed in you, man. I'm disappointed in you. I'm going Steelers, and I'm going Steelers 20-17. I mean, obviously, no disrespect to the Ravens, because I know they're a good team. It's always been a good rivalry. It's always been good games. It's always usually decided by 3 points or less.
Yeah.
And so I can't fault you too much for taking them, because they're a great team too. I mean, it can really go either way, but I don't know, man. We're on a roll. I just like what I've seen out of our defense, especially, and our offense just seems to be getting better and better as the weeks go on, the season goes on. So I don't know, man. I think we'll just pull our magic in this game and keep it rolling, keep the undefeated streak going. So, well, sweet. Do you have anything else to add for this preview for this game?
No, not for the game.
Okay. So one thing we want to say real quick before we end this video is we want to do a giveaway for any of you, basically sports fans. We want to do a giveaway of a gift card to Fanatics. It's going to be a $25 gift card to Fanatics. And I think you can basically get anything on there. NFL, NBA, you name it. So you don't have to just be an NFL fan. You don't have to be just a Steelers fan. You can be a sports fan. All you have to do is like this video, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So those of you listening on a podcast platform, you'll have to hunt our YouTube channel down and hunt this video down and like, comment, subscribe. But really comment on anything, right?
Yeah. Comment anything. Keep it, PG.
You're right.
We don't want vanity
or
anything like that on it. And yeah, if you're looking podcasts onto YouTube, it's still the same thing. Just Blitzburg Squad.
Right.
And although Wes says just like, comment, and subscribe, you still have to buy me something nice too. No, just kidding.
Hey, they might buy your Ravens hat if they win, so you better be careful.
Gosh, no.
But yeah,
I could see my district manager holding a bet for that and bringing a Ravens jersey.
Don't show it to him then. But yeah, we just wanted a chance to give back to our supporters so far, get everybody involved a little bit more, and just kind of give something back to you guys. So we appreciate it. So. You have anything else to add, Shane?
No, just thank you all.
Awesome, man. All right, man. So we got a good game on Sunday. So until then, go Steelers, dude.
Go Steelers.
That's right.
Yeah. Boys.